Hey everybody, RockPaperMario here, and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Blue, the aforementioned complete Pokédex edition. This is a new recording session, but I still haven't uploaded. What are you doing here? Psst. No, I don't. Are we spraying Repel? Well, actually, Repel is something we're probably not going to be using all that much, seeing as we actually want to run into the Pokemon for a change this time around. But, as I was saying, I haven't actually uploaded any of the other parts of this yet. I've scheduled the first 3 to upload, but you guys know, well, this is actually the last day of my vacation away from work, so I'm kind of taking this opportunity to just record some more of this, because I don't want to get into a situation like what happened with Shenmue 2, which was just ridiculous, where like I uploaded the first couple of parts and then nothing else happened forever and ever and ever and ever. So basically I'm just recording some of this. I know I asked for your feedback on a couple of things in... Oh my goodness, oh my damn. I think we'll just have to switch straight out to... Well no, let's get some damage in with Bob Pataki, or not Bob Pataki, with Buzzar here. Or let's not. Well, at least Bob Pataki gets to start off fresh here. He gets to stay fresh. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I know I asked for your feedback on train versus catch. But I haven't obviously I don't have that feedback yet, so I'm just going to continue doing my own thing for the moment and apply that feedback as necessary and appropriate once I do actually get it. Now there are, so that's why I'm not sure whether I'll be using the goddamn Koi Poo or any of those in this battle to any great degree. There are a couple, I'm pretty certain I'm going to level up Cat Denning because I mean, I'm not going to be able to catch Butterfree in the wild anyway, and I'm not going to be able to catch a Metapod that can actually battle to be able to evolve into a Butterfree, so Cat Denning I'm definitely... It just feels weird to be using Cat Denning singular. I'm actually going to switch back out. Actually, no, I'll switch out to Beyonce, get Beyonce some experience. I'm pretty sure I'm going to fall in love with Beyonce as well once she's not a little blue blob that can't do anything. So actually what I'm going to do is sacrifice the Koi Poo here. I'm actually, it's really weird recording at the moment because I have all the doors in the house open. Now there's a legitimate reason for all the doors in the house being open right now. Might as well tail whip it if I'm gonna be able to actually even do anything with the goddamn Koi Poo with its ridiculous sprite. Imagine if it just kept using Sand Attack and I managed to actually beat it. That'd be a turn up for the books. Because these Pidgeys, they seem to be their AI seems weighted towards using Sand Attack once they use it until they do that, but still. I have all of the doors open in the house with legitimate reason because we're actually going, there's someone supposed to be coming this evening to do some work upstairs, and the thing is, I have the doors locked because, obviously for security reasons, and as well, but the thing is, where I am at the moment is at, the complete, it's actually the farthest away from the front door as you can possibly be in this house, which means that if I had all the doors closed, and I was in here doing my thing, I most definitely wouldn't hear if they even arrived at the door. I would most definitely not hear that they had come, so that would present a problem. So that's why I actually have all the doors open, but that kind of means that every little sound that I hear kind of freaks me out. I get very kind of jumpy about noises in the house for some reason. I don't know why, because it's what's the worst that could happen? I have all the doors locked and everything like that, but sometimes it's just the dog moving around outside in the kitchen or something, and I'm like, oh my god, what is that? And it just completely unnerves me. What'd be great is if I could get Beyonce up to a certain level where she'd learn Poison Sting. That'd be really cool. Because then, if any bug catcher send out a Metapod, even if it'd take a while, I could just send out Beyonce and take it out, because all of the Metapods would only know, Harden anyway, and I'd get them poisoned, so happy days. Now, there are a couple of, speak of the devil, there are a couple of Pokemon that I could theoretically catch now, that I still haven't caught, most notably in Viridian Forest. Those being, cat denning versus a cat denning that is even like twice as powerful as it. Well, let's send a Buzzar here, because Buzzar might be able to take this thing out with a bit of luck. Yeah, there are a couple of Pokemon, most notably in Viridian Forest. I still haven't caught Weedle, and I haven't caught, which you can actually catch in this game. I still haven't caught Weedle, and I still haven't caught Pikachu, not to mention, okay, this is a bit dicey, because if it hits, will I even be able to survive? Yes! Oh my god, go Buzzar! You're the man! I want to get using some of my other Pokemon. Bob Pataki's just been carrying the whole team the last couple of videos, so I'm kind of interested in getting the other Pokemon on my team up to a certain level. This is another, like, basically another reaction to... Will I keep Buzzar in? I might as well. I mean, Buzzar grew up a level. I don't really want to send Kat Denning out again, because she's going to evolve now. This is, like, basically another continuation of my, my whole philosophy that I had in the Pokemon Silver LP. It's just an expansion on that, really. Because I remember in, like, the Pokemon Silver LP, my big soapbox was, all of these Pokemon LPs, they're always, like, so planned, and the LPer knows in advance what Pokemon they're going to have on their team, and they never do anything different, and that's all they ever have, and it's always the same, blah, blah, blah. And that was, like, my big soapbox, was that people should just, like, it's more in the spirit, I believe, anyway. It's not that there's anything really wrong with intense planning. God forbid, I was, like, the person whose first Pokemon LP was, like, I was the person whose first Pokemon LP was the anime run, where everything was completely planned down to the nth degree. Obviously not as planned as it could have been, because I failed to realise that either I failed to realise it, or I didn't care, but or I wanted to make the game easier for myself, but I failed to realise you can actually catch Primeape in the wild instead of having it to catch Mankey, because that was the only inaccurate thing I did, was that I caught Mankey instead of catching Primeape. But, like, I just think it's more in the spirit of the games to try out multiple Pokemon and see which ones, and have just fun with getting attached to them, that kind of way. And, like, not restricting yourself, so I guess this is kind of a continuation, like, an expansion even on that whole philosophy that I broached in Pokemon Silver, because I'm actually going to be catching and using a whole load of different Pokemon. Now, why didn't Kat Denning... Oh no, it's level 7 that Kat Denning evolves at. I thought it was level 5, but no, it's level 7 and then level 10. Well, I'm just going to... Well, will I return? No, there's no reason to return. The only one that needs to be healed is Buzzar. But as I was saying, I want to get this little thing finished. I need to say, this little public service announcement. Like, there are theoretically a couple of Pokemon like Weedle and Pikachu and Pidgey that I haven't caught yet, that I could and Nidoran Male as well, that I could theoretically have caught. But, like, the way I see it is, I'm going to be coming back there anyway, because I'm going to have to swing around eventually when I go through Diglett Cave, so I figure there's no real big reason not to just catch them then, you know? So, like, we are going to be just continuing on to Mount Moon. There's some more Pokemon that we can catch up along here, and I kind of just want to avoid, at the very beginning of the LP, these kind of videos where I just say, okay, we're looking for this really rare Pokemon now, so I'm going to walk around in the grass and I'll cut back in when I find it. Because that's what I'm going to have to do, like, with pretty much all of those Pokemon except Pidgey. Because Weedle and Pikachu, I'm pretty sure they're like a 5% chance, and so is Nidoran Male in Pokemon Blue, so... Like, I'm pretty much going... That's like the only strategy that's going to be able to theoretically work. And you guys know I'm usually not the biggest fan of cutting and recordings and cutting stuff out, but it's kind of a necessary evil in this case, because I'm not going sitting here recording for 20 minutes, which could theoretically happen if the game wants to be particularly mean to me. I'm not going sitting here recording for 20 minutes so that I can find Weedle and catch it. So that kind of way, I mean, I'd prefer to just cut that time out and say, okay, I'm gonna go find Weedle and I'll see you when we find one, because that's gonna take a long time, you know? So yeah, that's just another, like, it seems like there's a lot of stuff to just explain at the beginning of this. Like, actually, it's not that complicated. I'm going catching all 150 Pokemon. We're not even at the point yet where it's, oh, this is a bad combination, Wrap and Poison. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I might actually have to use a potion here. I think I actually am, just to be on the safe side. I have 6 of the goddamn things, so... But yeah, it's not that kind. Like, we haven't even got to the parts where it'll become interesting. Like, how am I going, like, what way am I going to go about getting Pokemon that are version exclusive, that not like Weedle and Nidoran Male, where they're more rare in this game than they are in Pokemon Red, but where they're actually just not in the game at all, like where there's no way of catching them on this cartridge. But we'll get into that like soon enough. I have it all like mapped out and all planned out how I'm going to go about it. The only question that I have on my mind is like when I'm actually going to do it, like when would be a sensible time to actually do that. Oh my god, this Ekans is actually going to kill me. Between the poison and the Wrap, it's just wearing me down. Like, it's after wearing down all of my HP twice now. Just gonna get it one more time. That was actually really dicey, because I probably would have been dead if the attack hadn't ended right then. But Cat Denning grew to level 6, it was worth it in the end. See, I actually wouldn't mind getting a few more of these Pokemon up to a pretty decent level where they can actually fend for themselves a little bit, because... just so that I'm not switching out to Bob Pataki all the time. I don't want... Like, I mean, we already had one... Well, Bob Pataki fainted. Well, it looks like we're not going to be switching out to him anytime soon. We already had one Pokemon LP where... We just had one Pokemon that was like level whatever, wiping out everything. That was something that I really never expected, like in the Pokemon Yellow LP, the Pikachu solo one. I never really expected... I'm just going to switch out to Beyonce here, because she really needs to learn Poison Sting. I don't know when she's going to do it, but she's going to do it sometime. I have to remember as well that she's not going to learn Double Kick. In Pokemon Yellow, they changed the moveset slightly, and the Nidorans actually learn Double Kick, which is really useful, but... I don't think that's going to happen in this game. I think they pretty much changed that in Pokemon Yellow. I'm pretty confident anyway. The only reason that they changed that in Pokemon Yellow, and the only reason why they had Mankey that early in Pokemon Yellow, is to actually make it more feasible to take on Brock, because that's the only reason why I can imagine that they make all those changes so early. Because otherwise, unless you do ridiculous grinding like I did with Pikachu at the beginning of that game, Brock is just a nightmare if you were only using Pikachu. And I mean, using Caterpie and whatever, good luck, that's not going to be very helpful either. I suppose technically you could level up Caterpie or you could level up a Butterfree until it learned Confusion, and that would help you out, but I mean, that's so silly, you know, that kind of way. So I can understand why they changed the moveset so that you'd have access to fighting type moves earlier to make it more feasible to take on Brock. Buzzar is actually getting up there now, so Buzzar will actually be able to wipe out some of these Pokemon. Now, will that Kakuna know? Will that Kakuna know Poison Sting? I don't think it will, because I think they only know, like Kakuna and Metapod, if you catch them or if they're owned by a trainer, they only know Harden or whatever. So what we'll see. I think still though, Cat Denning isn't going to be able to take it out anytime soon, so Buzzar would probably be the more legitimate option. I still haven't decided like yet what my approach is going to be to trainer battles, because I know in the Pokemon Silver LP I pretty much kept every trainer battle in. Like, there weren't really any trainer battles that I didn't keep in the mix, you know, so For the most part, I think I'm going to adopt a similar strategy, just because that's generally the way I roll in every LP. Like, I don't really cut anything out. Metroid Prime, I didn't cut anything out whatsoever. What a ridiculous LP. We'll switch out to Cat Denning again, just because I'm pretty excited to have Cat Denning evolve, so... And that's going to be happening pretty soon. So yeah, they're all things, like, all of these concerns or all these questions that I'm voicing right now, like, whether to cut out enemy battles, or about, like, how am I going to deal with rare Pokemon or whatever, because it's going to happen in the Safari Zone as well. Like, think of all of the rare Pokemon we're going to have to catch in the Safari Zone, and the big four that well, no, actually 5. There are pretty much 5 rare Pokemon that I'm going to have to catch in the Safari Zone. And that's Chansey, Kangaskhan, Tauros, Pinsir, and Dratini. And that's going to take a long time. Like, there's no getting around it. It is just going to take a long time. So that's another time when I'm probably going to veer towards, or actually cutting out a lot of the downtime while we're actually just waiting for the Pokemon to appear. The thing is, in the Safari Zone, having the Pokemon appear is only half the battle, you know? You get to the point then where you actually have to catch the goddamn thing, but that's okay. I enjoy the Safari Zone more on balance than I think most people do, because I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I don't get very frustrated very easily. I think I've already proven my chops as far as the Safari Zone is concerned. By catching Tauros in my Pokemon Yellow LP, and if I can do it once, I can do it again, so it's not going to be that big a deal, so... Though I do think that's something that you generally won't see a lot in Pokemon LPs, like, not to be all... I'm not bragging when I say this, but I do think this LP is going to be interesting as well, just because the majority of Pokemon LPs just don't even bother catching those Pokemon like Kangaskhan or whatever, because it's not worth your time. God, everyone was leveling up except Buzzar. Buzzar's still at level 8, a respectable level for this time at the game. Harry got $90. What? Cat Denning is evolving. From one broke girl into 2? No, not really. Now its name doesn't even make sense anymore. Cat Denning evolved into Metapod. That's not even the actress's name, because there's no S on the end of it. Do you know? But let's have a look at this sucker. Cat Denning, singular. Its name doesn't even make sense anymore. For what it's worth, it should just be called Met Denning at this stage. We still have like a couple of trainers to fight here, and I mean 3. What I might do is I might just like skip some trainers and then fight them off screen for the experience, but as I say, that's another thing where I wouldn't mind knowing you guys' opinion on it or whatever. I wouldn't be averse to actually getting to Mount Moon in this video for what that's worth. You can fight my new Pokemon. And what new Pokemon would that be, little boy? What would you... We'll go out for frosted chocolate milkshakes. Or whatever. Oh, a Caterpie. How fascinating. See, if Beyonce would hurry her fat ass up and learn Poison Sting, we'd actually be able to take out this Caterpie with her all in her lonesome, but apparently that's just not meant to be. But yeah. Actually, this LP is probably going to be the most organized LP I have ever... Well, not organized, but the most, like... Is that gonna kill me? No, thankfully. For what it's worth, this LP is going to be probably the most organized LP I've ever done. Scratch, okay. Does it not learn Poison Sting? Well, no, Poison Sting is one of those moves that the game appears to... The game seems to think that Poison Sting is far bigger a deal than it actually is, funnily enough. Because there are like Pokemon that don't learn Poison Sting, or Leech Life, or like Sleep Powder is another one of those attacks, that they don't learn them until way later than you'd think is appropriate. I just want to see how much this is going to do. No, that is not viable at all. Thankful we have a good attacking Pokemon other than Bob Pataki, so it's not just that turtle, the Beeper King out here all the time. So yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be something that this LP necessitates quite a bit of organization. Just even doing the sufficient research to know whether it would even be possible or not was one thing, you know. If it was going to be legitimately possible the way I want to do it, and thankfully it is. Or otherwise I wouldn't be doing it at all. But then there's like all the other research as to, okay, if I'm getting this Pokemon, where am I going to get it, and when is the best time to get it? Because there are a couple of things, like, we're going to be getting up to Mount Moon now, and technically there are a couple of Pokemon there that I could catch, but I'm wondering whether... I'm actually going to skip her because I want to get to that Pokemon Center. There are like a couple of Pokemon that I could theoretically catch in Mount Moon, but where I'm thinking, okay, for the sake of the LP, it'd probably be more sensible... Whew, I better take a rest. Ugh. That tunnel from Cerulean takes a lot out of you. How did you even get here from Cerulean? Did you know Surf? Because, like, actually, this is one of the first points of no return once you get through Mount Moon, where you're like, okay, well, I can never come back from here now. Welcome to the world of tomorrow! We'll need your Pokemon. But yeah, they're like Zubat and Geodude. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'll catch them later in the game, because then they'll be at a higher level and it'll be easier to evolve them, that kind of way, so... I don't know, then again, I'm pretty much willing to just go with the flow and see what happens and decide each day, okay, well, maybe I'll catch this Pokemon or not. Ugh. I'm not generally the best at sticking to an organized plan, but... Anyway, we got through that last route, we got up to Mount Moon, so there's some fun catching ahead of us here in the next few videos. I'm going to say thanks a million for watching this part of Let's Play Pokemon Blue. Any of the things that I talked about, if you have any feedback or any input that you'd like to voice, do so in the comments. I love getting comments, I love reading them, I love responding to them, so thanks in advance for those, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.